It's Monday, the 20th, and it feels about like Monday. It's sort of a blah day, it's overcast. Thankfully, I feel better than I did yesterday, that's for sure. Um, I came so close to not making any recording because I thought, why would I in this horrible mood? And I did it anyway because sometimes you have to be in a horrible mood. Right after I finished, um, I made my pasta. I ate way too much of it. Sydney came home. I gave him a little scrap of it. And yeah, he apologized for yelling, and I apologized for yelling, and everything was better, um, more or less. Yeah, it was better. But then I felt horrible because I ate so much crappy food, and um, I was really just exhausted emotionally. And today wasn't so much better. So I went out walking for 2 hours today and made the huge mistake of being on my phone almost the entire time. So that's 2 hours of walking in the woods and not even appreciating that I was walking in the woods. What I was appreciating, but also feeling really sad about, was Peter Beard. And I was looking at many, many, many people's photographs and tributes, and some of them were personal, and some of them were just for the artist and the man. And just it brought up so much for me about how I want to live my life. And he's really lucky. He was 83 years old, 82 years old. Um, I mean, he still, I think, could have lived longer, but that's a good amount of time. That's a lot longer than a lot of people get, certainly right now. Um, so as I struggle with this battle to be grateful for where I am, what I have, and all of it, I'm also feeling so much pull to do more. Peter Beard really lived a large life, lots of travel, and his art and his love of Africa and animals and conservation and um, all of it mixed together, famous people, partying all night, just all of it. He lived really large. And I saw so many beautiful pictures of him in a studio, painting on his photographs, painting outside, just living life, bathing in a little tub out in the wilderness in Africa, um, camping outdoors with furniture, which always just strikes me as a very luxurious thing to do, to have furniture outside. Um, Also, when I was walking today, I felt kind of crappy. I mean, I just threw on whatever clothes I had and some jacket I never wear and don't like very much. And I came home and I just felt so off. And I said to Sydney, excuse me, I said, I'm just gonna take another shower and start all over. Excuse me. Um, and that's kind of where I am right now. I took another shower and I feel like I'm starting all over, and it's 2 p.m. I put on this silk blouse that feels amazing, and I put on this cool sweater that came in the mail about a week ago. That was hand knit. I ordered it like months ago, and it was hand knit by this woman in the Ukraine, and I found her on Etsy, and it's so cool. It's a shrug, right? So it's just two arms and a kind of a middle wrap piece, and you can do all kinds of groovy things with it. But I love the color, and it's really soft, and somebody made it by hand for me. I love that. I think that's amazing. Um, and it's cheaper than some mass produced sweater that I could have found in a shop. It's amazing to me. It's amazing all of the talents that people have that we hardly ever recognize. And then I put on this necklace because I bought it in Greece last fall. It's 2 olive leaves, and I love it. And it just reminds me of Greece and makes me happy. I put on these earrings from my friend Heike, who makes beautiful, beautiful jewelry. I'm almost always wearing something of hers. Little rutilated quartz crystals, 22 karat gold, because that's how she always works. And then this ring that I wear a lot that my dad made for me about, I'd say 25 years ago, before I got married. There was a time when I lost it, and I was searching high and low everywhere. I mean, I was really ripping apart the house looking for this ring. I asked a bunch of my friends who are psychics. They found it for me. So for those of you who don't believe in that, wait till you lose something that you really love. And somebody with powers that you can't explain can tell you where it is. In fact, when Peter Beard was missing, I actually suggested, just randomly on somebody's Facebook page, that they call a psychic to try to find him. I actually called a friend of mine, but she needed to speak to the family, and that's difficult. And anyway, didn't happen. Could have happened. That's what I would do. If I go missing, call a psychic. Anyway, I just had to do my day over, and I had to put on things that had a different vibration. Everything has a vibration. Everything is energy. Everything you own has some vibration. And I suppose Marie Kondo, if she comes to clean your house, she asks you, does it spark joy? Well, it's the same question. You have to ask yourself, does a thing in your life bring you joy, make you feel good, have a vibration that raises your vibration? That's how I see almost everything. And I look at Peter Beard's art, and it just makes my heart feel big and sad and want to explode all at the same time. And he put so much of himself into his art. I loved that. I loved the way he was sort of irreverent with the actual photograph or a negative. And his diaries used to be on display at this gallery in Soho. It was called The Time Is Now. I think it was supposed to be a brief little show. It went on for years. I went there dozens of times, to look at the same things over and over again. And I could never stay in there very long, because for me, the vibration of that space and of his art was so high that it was like this. I just couldn't, I couldn't be there too long, because I couldn't hold it. I couldn't take it in, if that makes any sense. I feel that way a lot when I go to museums or when I go to galleries. I get so overwhelmed by things that I find beautiful, and I can't stay in their presence too long. Does that make any sense? Like they're so rare, they're so precious. There's such a high vibration to it that I just can't sit there too long. I don't know why that is, but it happens a lot. Probably all over my house, all over my basement, are these scraps of paper. Well, I can tell you there are scraps of paper everywhere, but I often go to a museum and I have nothing with me. I have no piece of paper or a notebook or anything like that. And I end up taking the program or something and writing notes on it about the things that come to me while I'm there, the inspiration that an artist is creating for me just because I'm in the presence of their work. And I remember feeling that way looking at Matisse paintings or the paper cutouts. I remember feeling that way looking at Degas' paintings of dancers. And I so wanted to do the same in photographs, black and white photographs backstage of dancers in the same way that he had painted them. Of course, the problem is they don't always pose quite as beautifully. So it's something I would have to find more than create. But this is the stuff that really, really explodes my heart. And God, I know it seems so trivial, but then I think of how much this one photographer who I never met, Peter Beard, this one photographer I never met had such a huge impact on my life. He lived a couple miles from here. A lot of my friends were friends with him. My ex-husband used to date a woman that he dated in Kenya. I guess they knew each other socially in Nairobi. I think about how I am physically affected by the thought of his art, by the vision of his art. God, that's, you know what? Anyone who can do that is amazing in my book. I think that's the sort of impact that I want to make in this world. I wish I could have talked to him. Yeah, I wish I could have talked to him about where that came from for him, you know, how he felt about it, or if it just came through him. I don't know. I suppose it doesn't matter. We all have to do it our own way. I just love how his was so his own way. Not a lot of people have that level of impact in my life. I can think of maybe 5, maybe 10. One of them I'm going to be speaking to possibly tonight. So that should be interesting. I'll just have to sit with that a bit, but I'm just thinking about art, vibration, the dog food that was just delivered. The way we can impact people that we don't even see or touch or know. All right, dog says that's the message to end it.